Hello and welcome to the Sports Show with Bob Spino, where we have a Super Bowl champion. Bob, what do you think? It looks like our predictions were accurate in terms of the outcome. I don't believe we got the MVP though, right? Did we?
No, I think I said Stafford, I believe. And did you say Stafford as well?
I also said Stafford, and it was who was it? Was it Darnold?
It was Cup.
Sorry.
It was Cup. It was Cooper Cup.
Oh, it was Cup. Cup was clutch. Was clutch.
Didn't Herb say that? Didn't he pick Cup as the MVP? I believe
he might have. He may have.
But we got the teams right, and the Rams won. And I'll tell you, everybody's complaining about, and it's weird because like I'm sitting there watching the game with a couple of friends, and I go, you notice there hasn't been any flags in this game at all? Not even pass interference. And at the end of the game, they threw two of them on that last drive. And then a lot of people were screaming about that helped the Rams win, but not really, because think about what happened when Cincy's got their touchdown. There was a face mask that was grabbed, and that's why the defensive back got burned, and the guy caught it and ran it for a touchdown. You take that should have been a penalty. That should not have counted.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been a touchdown. That was playing in your face.
That's right. And so I guess, people, they really were pulling for Cincinnati and the underdog. But it goes back to what I said, Rob. They just didn't deserve to be there. They weren't the best team. And how do you think the Bills feel right now? Because if the Rams played that lousy against the Bills or the Chiefs, they'd have killed them.
The Bengals only lost by 3, right, Bob? I mean, it wasn't like the Rams rolled them. I don't know about this not deserving.
Well, the Rams didn't roll anything. They played pretty. Of all the games in the playoffs, that was the most boring one, I thought. All the games before it were good. I mean,
agreed. And it was still a close game, though. The game was
still close.
Came down to the end, basically.
You know what's funny? Cincinnati's been in 3 Super Bowls, and every game they've been in, they've actually were winning all 3 of those games in the fourth quarter. And they had Frisco beat twice in the 80s, and Montana goes on a 90-yard drive with less than 2 minutes to go, and then the other one they won. They handed off, and this guy named Ringo was the running back for San Francisco, and he scored on a touchdown. Yeah, they were on like the Cincy 2-yard line late in the game, and he scored a touchdown. And Cincy didn't even realize, but San Francisco had 10 men on the field instead of 11, and nobody knew it. And they still threw that block, and the guy scored the touchdown. And still Frisco scored that touchdown. Cincy's been in every game, the 3 games they've been in. They just fell short in all 3.
You think the Bengals will get back with Joe Burrow to the Super Bowl?
No. Maybe if, Mahomes and Allen get hurt or, move to another country or something. I don't know. Outside of that, no. Those 2 guys are a little too good for him. And those teams are better. And they got to be kicking themselves right now because, that game should have been for the AFC title to see who gets in it. And unfortunately, it wasn't. And it hurt. The Bills could have won that darn thing. They would have won. I kept saying it. I said it before the playoffs, if the Bills get in it, they're going to win it this year. And they didn't because they couldn't cover 13 seconds. So,
I'm confident had the Bills had that home game, the AFC title game, they would have. I think
they would have won. They should have won anyway. I mean, they had 13 seconds to go.
You got to stop your NFL defense.
Finish it.
You're allegedly one of the best defenses in the league. You got to get that stuff.
And I'll say it again, though. It had nothing to do with the overtime rule. It had nothing to do with even the kickoff. Look, there shouldn't have been a squib kick. Should have kicked it to the 2-yard line because then the guy would have had to run it a couple of yards and use more time off the clock because he's not going to take a knee on the 2-yard line. That would have been 98 yards to go. Mahomes, of all people, probably could have done that, or maybe Brady, but I doubt it in this case. No. But I'll tell you something else. I found out something. My brother told me last week, I did talk to him. He's doing a little better. That Eric Bieniemy, who's the offensive coordinator, or was, for Kansas City, he goes, Bob, he told me on the night they lost to the Bengals, Bob, that guy stinks. I'd fire him right now. And, and I just was like, and I didn't say much because I know he's been getting praised for a couple of years, But it turns out from last year to this year, the story came out. Kansas City, Mahomes hates his guts, for one. They've been bickering. And at the end of the half, he ridiculously made that throw to Hill on the 2-yard line with 2 linebackers standing in front of him. Where supposedly there were 5 plays called because there was 5 seconds to go and they're on the 2. And 2 of the 5 they just got rid of because Andy wanted to run the ball. The enemy called him off. It says, what the beep? No, we're not using those plays. And then they were like, well, we could throw it in the end zone, but we're not. We're going to throw it on the sideline. And he's done this a lot. And Mahomes and him were screaming at each other in the tunnel at halftime of that game. And the reason in the past that he's been getting not hired is because when he goes in to the teams that have been wanting to hire him, he gives them an attitude and he has no game plan. What do you want to do for us? I'm going to win. Well, what does that mean? I'm going to win. That's all he says. So something along those lines.
Well, I mean, you could probably come up with a game plan with Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill.
I could just give him the ball and say, go do it. That'd be the game plan and we win. But you know what? He doesn't treat the players with respect. If they said something or came to him with a problem, he would just ignore them. He would treat them rude. And even though Kansas City signed him for a 1-year deal last year, they signed him because nobody else took him because he was interviewing. And the other team, now he's starting to start with that. Well, maybe it's because I'm not white. No, maybe because you're just a mean person. How about that? And Kansas City was hoping the last 2 years that he would get a job with somebody. But in his contract, you know what he put? I can out Trump the head coach and change the plays whenever I want. He changed the plays. He took 2 runnings off that and the field goal. They could have kicked the field goal, and they should have. At the half, they would have won. And they were screaming. And after the game, they were screaming again. And his contract's up now, so they're not going to take, especially after what Flores did. There's a lot of teams now that are leery, that they're afraid these coaches are going to backstab them someday. They're not going to tolerate it. My brother was right again.
The fact that that lawyer was able to get that in the contract and they accepted it. I mean, that sounds like Doug Marone's old contract with the Bills, where what if the owner passed away, he could just walk away with all his money?
Right. That's right.
I mean,
I like to sign that contract.
Why would you accept that contract?
I don't know why anybody's accepting anything anymore. What these teams are doing, but you know what? Again, because my brother was there, and it's the first thing that he said to me was Bob, the offensive coordinator, and he mentioned it to me last year too. He was questioning, and what I said to you last week. Remember what I said? I go, did you notice that Mahomes in the second half wasn't throwing to his star receivers? That came out yesterday. He was throwing to the 3rd and the 4th guy because the enemy wanted to throw. And remember I said I hated Clyde Hyde, whatever his name is, the running back. He wasn't supposed to get the ball that much in the game. McKinney was. Remember I told you that guy was good? Something was wrong. They weren't on the same page, and they were bickering. And it cost the Chiefs. And that's bad news for the Bills because now that he's gone, if they get somebody in there and they're all on the same page, how the heck is Buffalo going to beat them? If they're all on the same page, how the heck is that going to happen? I don't know. Like I told my friend Joe,
the Chiefs getting another offensive coordinator soon?
They are. They're getting one. Yes, the enemy's contract's up, and after this, they're not. Mahomes. Look. He's one of the stars in the league. You take the star off, what's going to happen to you? You're fired. You take the star off, you're a goner. It's that simple. And Mahomes is a star. And that's bad news for Buffalo. And you know what? I love Buffalo too, and I would love to see them, do that. That'd be great to get there.
So have the Bills replaced their offensive coordinator?
No, I don't believe they have. Well, wait a minute. He was their assistant offensive coordinator. He was not their head offensive coordinator. So the guy's still in place. That's there.
So the Giants hired Buffalo's assistant offensive coordinator.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, these guys don't know what they're doing. Look, they fired the GM on the same day. And the GM was on the phone talking to someone during the play or during the last game of the season. He wasn't interested in what was going on. They're a mess right now, which is good because I like the Bills and I hope they stay a mess. I'm still mad at them, but I talked to Reese about what you said. He likes the signing of your coach in Miami. I don't know. I agree with you. He's never coached.
We're dealing with the unproven commodity.
Yeah, right.
And all we got to have to go by is a terrible 49er offense that we saw this year that made their run despite the offense because they had a great defense.
Right.
I don't know what the reasoning is to hire this guy, but that's what happened.
Right. Because of Reese and us going out watching the games, I know everything about your team, maybe more than mine. I know exactly what you need. I mean,
we need an offensive line.
You need an offensive line. You need a running back, too. He's only okay. He's not good. He's not great. You need another wide receiver for Waddle, too. Maybe
I'd like to see Duke Johnson be the primary ball carrier. That's just me.
Right.
I mean, we need another wide receiver. That's true.
You do. And you got to, I mean, and it depends who you're going to lose. I mean, you could lose some defensive players. I don't know. I don't know. But, but I know a lot about your team now, Rob. I can tell you that because of him, And
I hope Reese's optimism is proven to be valid because,
yeah, but
we need to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the problem I think with Reese is he's too optimistic sometimes and not realistic. I sat there with him. The Bills pounded you guys in game 2, 35-0. He just looked at me. We just had an off day. I was like, what? We just killed you 35-0. Right. And just
we didn't have our quarterback. So, okay. Asterisk.
No, you did until the second half, though. We knocked him out of that game.
You knocked him out of the game. You did.
Knocked him out of the game. Right.
Knocked us out of the playoffs because of that.
Reese actually said, and somebody else said this to me too, that he wants to give your quarterback one more year. But the other kid said that I don't think he's very good. I think he's okay. I don't think he's great. But you're going to give him another year, obviously,
I mean, I don't know what's the debate is. His accuracy is insane. He was 8-1 in the games he played in entirety last year. They went 10-6 the year before. I mean, what is the debate?
I don't know. Well,
you can't throw a deep ball. I mean, go watch the deep ball throws he made. Go look him up on YouTube.
But he doesn't throw enough of them. Some of that had to do with your
offense. Well, I mean, if you don't have an offensive line to protect you for more than 0.25 seconds, then maybe you need to throw short.
Yeah. Well, but he always threw short in college too. But you know what? You do need a line. You're right. Some of your play calls were terrible. I didn't like a lot of your play calls. I didn't understand. Some of them I didn't understand.
Oh, yeah, it was awful. I mean, that was one of Flores' criticisms. The coordinators and subordinate coaches were less than desirable.
Right. But it's right now. It's a Chief and Bill world in the AFC. That's pretty much right. I don't see Burrow. They put up a stat. This is how dumb they are. Twitter put up a stat that the last 16 quarterbacks that went to the Super Bowl for their first time, okay, and didn't win, never went back again. That's not true because they forgot about Jim Kelly. The first time he went, he did and lose, he went back the next year. But all those other ones on the list, their very first time in the Super Bowl, they did not win. They've never been back. That is true. Only Jim Kelly was the exception.
Oh, I could see the Bengals not making another run. I mean, no one expected them to do it this time, and it could be one of those deals where he goes the whole career and doesn't go back.
That's right. Because, they have a lot of work to do. People forget 2 years ago they won 2 games. And they won 2 games for the previous 10 years before that, pretty much. So they have a lot of work to do. They don't have a good offensive line either. He has tendencies to hold the ball too long and get sacked. Their defense is okay, but it's not great. They're not elite. I don't think they're an elite team. And I think and the Browns have issues, and the biggest one probably is the 2 biggest ones are the coach, who's not very good, and Baker, who's too inconsistent. But if they can right that ship fast, they'll be better than Cincinnati. And I thought they were going to be better this year and even win the division, but they didn't. They have too many issues. And it's Baker. I did say, though, beginning of last year, it's up to Baker, depending on what kind of year he has. He had a bad year. So, but what do you think of Beckham playing good, getting the first touchdown, and then getting hurt?
I was happy for him.
Yeah.
He kind of got dumped by the wayside by Cleveland. He came out and had a great first half. If he had stayed healthy, I think they might have put that game away. He was rolling.
Yeah, maybe they would have blew him out. That might have changed because they couldn't adjust on the fly like that.
But that was, I was glad to see. I mean, I like when great players play great. It'd be some of these wide receivers, their heads are a little bit off kilter, but
yeah,
OBJ seems like a good guy. I mean, I was glad for him. He was very emotional at the end of the game.
They were saying it's a long way from Cleveland. They said, and it's even a longer way to New York. Because don't think he wasn't making fun of the Giants when he was out there dancing the last couple of weeks and then getting that first touchdown, because he was. He was loving that. And now he says he wants to play with Mahomes next year. But you know what? He keeps tearing knees. I don't know. Like, that's not good. And he wasn't even hit when he tore that knee. He just turned back and boom, it went.
Yeah, I don't expect him to have a consistently solid performing career. I think the injury bugs got him, and it's not going to let go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can tear a knee and be okay the rest of your life. But then on the other hand, you got guys like that who just go out there, take a step, and it'll go. So you don't know.
Who's your favorite for next season before we switch topics?
Okay. Well, the Chiefs are favorites and the Bills are second. So that tells you right there who the best teams are. No, Sam Darnold's going to quit. Is he going to quit or what? He's only 30 years old. Yeah, he's talking about retiring. He's only 30 years old. That's not that old. I mean, I really don't.
Maybe he just doesn't want to put the wear and tear in his body.
That's what my brother said. Sometimes you just don't want to get beat up like that after a while. You get tired of it. And that could be. Or now he won, so maybe he just wants to quit. And Von Miller's a little bit older too. So I don't. They've lost a lot of people. I saw their free agent list. The Rams aren't going to. I don't know who's going to win next year. I think I'm leaning Chiefs or Bills. You flip a coin with that. But I can tell you who's not. The Rams, because it's hard to repeat and they're losing a ton of players. And we saw Dick Vermeil, who we had on our show, on the field. Did you notice that, Rob, at halftime?
I missed that, Bob.
Yeah, he was on the field because he made one of the greatest coaches of all time. They put him on that list. So we're really happy about that.
So yeah, go through our video list, folks, and check out the Dick Vermeil interview. He kind of came in full steam ahead. There was some technical issues, but it ended up being a great interview.
He's a tough guy, but a good one. He's got a good heart, and we're really congratulations, Dick Vermeil, for making that list.
But I have to agree. I think I like the Chiefs and the Bills at the top of the mountain next year, and if, as you say, is true, the Rams piecemeal super team is starting to get picked apart. So,
right,
Stafford's great, but he was on a great team too.
Well, he's really good. I don't know if he's super great, but he's good. He's good enough. But he didn't play all that great in that game. He did not. He played much better in the games before.
Honestly, he didn't play that great in the playoffs, to be honest, in my opinion.
No. I know one interception wasn't his fault. It went off the guy's hand. The guy should have caught it. But still, he wasn't very, stellar. He really wasn't. So, but they won. That's what you need to do. Congratulations.
They got it done. And yeah, I think Stafford does have a tremendously high ceiling. I don't know if he stays there all the time, but I wouldn't count the Rams totally out, but I agree. I don't.
No, I'm not going to count them totally out, but I don't think they'll repeat. No, it's ironic. Next year, the Super Bowl's in Arizona. So can the Cardinals make it? That'll be a home game.
They had a hot streak during the season for a while. I don't know. I like their coach. I like the quarterback. I just don't know if it's enough to win it all.
I don't know if they have enough. And I'm still not sure about the quarterback. He's really good, Rob, but I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know. I got my doubts still. So he's got to prove it to me. You know what I'm saying?
So we'll see what happens. It was exciting playoffs, that's for sure. Good season. Some stories, a lot of stories. I mean, the Dolphins had performed once again a feat that has never been accomplished. You have the coaching dramas, all the shuffling, and the shocking run by the Bengals. I mean, it was a memorable season. Brady's last kind of run, possibly, and it's kind of sad to see it end, but that's the way it goes. Yeah,
and I'll tell you what. The NFL needed it because, all the bad stuff they've been getting lately, the publicity and the trouble with Kaepernick, and they needed it. So, and they got it. And they're going to make a lot of money because of it, too. You can bet on it.